Good evening. I'm making this video because I think it's very important to tell you something that I experienced with this beautiful girl right here, Daisy. Say hello. Anyway, about 17 weeks ago, I came downstairs and noticed that my dog was holding up one of her hind legs and not putting it on the ground when she walked. So, of course, when you love your dog, this was like at 2 or 3 in the morning. I drove her immediately to the after-hours emergency vet clinic to do an examination to find out what was wrong, and the vet felt that she had torn her ACL. All right, when I come home, I start doing all this research on torn ACLs in dogs, and there's a tremendous amount of information out there that state do not rush into surgery, try home remedy treatments, and I think I was fooled by this because I go out and I buy a very expensive red light therapy pen. For 2 weeks, I gave my dog heat compresses, cold massages, red light therapy treatments, glucosamine, omega-3. Well, to make a long story short, at the end of 2 weeks, her leg was no better, so she suffered probably for 2 weeks needlessly. And that's when I decided to bring her to my personal vet. And she examined my dog, and she absolutely said the ACL was completely ruptured. X-rays don't show a rupture of the ACL, so they're pretty meaningless, but a draw test is what they use. So then we contacted a very reputable, very skilled orthopedic surgeon who advised that she should get TPLO surgery immediately. She's a 70-pound dog. So some of the other techniques they use to correct this don't work well on a dog of that weight. TPLO is tibial plateau leveling osteotomy. Basically, it removes the ligaments, and it's bone against bone. So I had the surgery done. Afterwards, it's a 13-week recovery. First 2 weeks are very difficult because you're supposed to not leave the wound site bandaged all the time. So without a bandage, she can lick the stitches, and then that can give your dog an infection almost within seconds. So basically, you have to keep a collar on her for 2 weeks, which I refuse to do because I think that was pretty inhumane to make your dogs sit with a collar on for 2 weeks. So what I did was I ended up buying a lot of gauze bandages, and I ended up loosely putting on the bandages to keep her, just a barrier between her tongue and the stitches. And I basically kept her with me almost all the time, 24/7. Took off from work to be with her. And after 2 weeks, when the stitches are removed, then you're free and clear about infections from licking. So it was a tough first 2 weeks, but I got to tell you that I'm in my 17th week now, and I can tell you that her leg that had the surgery is probably better than new, because when the bone fills in and heals, it's actually stronger. It's a stronger fix than her normal leg is on its own. So I'm making this video because I'm telling you the surgery is absolutely necessary on a completely ruptured ACL. It's expensive. It's a $3,000 surgery, but you know, you love your dog so much that you can't just ignore it, because if you do ignore it, it's going to become very arthritic, and eventually the other leg's going to blow, and you're going to have a dog with no two rear legs. So I thank God that I did the surgery. Her life is completely back to normal. She gets glucosamine and omega-3 every day. That's to help with arthritis. So even after the surgery, you can become a little bit arthritic. And you're going to be very mindful of the good leg, because in pit bulls especially, the good leg has a tendency to go out a year after you have surgery on the other leg. So rather than go through this nightmare again, I give her the glucosamine, I give her the omega-3, and I don't let her burst into a high-speed run when she's not warmed up, you know. So, but anyway, there is actually dog insurance, pet insurance, that will cover TPLO surgery. So, and the insurance is fairly inexpensive. It's like 15 to 20 bucks a month. So you might consider that, especially if you have a pit bull, because they're genetically they can genetically get this torn ACL. I don't know. My dog wasn't out when she tore it. The doors were shut. She couldn't. You can actually just slip on a wooden floor and tear your ACL. So if this happens to you, please do not procrastinate about getting the surgery. Like I said, there's insurance you can get now. In my case, a lot of the vet clinics let you use what's called a care credit card, and I think it's General Electric is the one that put that out, GE. But I was able to put half of it, the surgery cost, on that card, and paid for the other half. And that's only because I had a prior balance on it because dentists also accept it. So please, if your dog tears her ACL completely, don't elect to ignore the surgery, because that is the only thing, in my opinion, that is going to bring your dog back to 100% normal health. Okay? I hope this helps in some way.